welcome to the Get Going podcast. I'm Ash.
And I'm Ethan, and we're here to help you forget everything you've learned about the fitness industry. So today we're going to be talking about the health and fitness industry, specifically what is wrong with the industry in our opinion, and what we've come in contact with in the last few years. There's a goddamn lot that's wrong with it.
Yeah. And this is purely like opinion, experience-based stuff, things that we've seen on Instagram and stuff like that. So there's a lot of influencers out there just throwing 10-week programs out at the moment, promising crazy amounts of results with little actual evidence to show how it's actually going to get there.
The fact that someone can jump on Instagram tomorrow that has, 1 million followers and start a fitness account and all of a sudden pick up 100k followers, and now everyone listens to them and they're going to do their bikini workout, which gets them shredded in 8 weeks, is a complete joke, really.
Yeah.
Like, we're flooded in an industry full of people that all have an opinion, and everyone listens to it purely based off aesthetics, body image, everything like that, but no real knowledge in the industry.
No.
And no practical element either.
No.
Have you seen the ones where it's like, okay, get shredded in 8 weeks, follow this program, drink these shakes, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the industry we're in.
Yeah.
It's not very sexy to say the words, hey, results are going to take ages. It's going to take years of hard work, effort, habitual changes. Your results are going to be really boring and slow. Join our program.
And that really is exactly what everyone needs, is the kind of sustainable long-term change instead of this like 10-week stuff, which is flooding the market at the moment. But you're right, it isn't sexy at all. Like, you can't just say, look guys, it's going to take a long time, day to day you're going to struggle, let's get started, because no one wants to do that. Well, everyone wants to switch.
And when people inquire, because we obviously deal with all the inquiries we get to get going, and most of the inquiries are based around, okay, what results can you promise me in 4 weeks? And we say, oh yeah, hey, we can promise you some really minuscule results, but what we can promise you is long-term results. And they go, oh, that's really boring. No one wants to hear it. But what they end up doing anyway is yo-yo dieting. So they go up, down, and they end up finishing where they started 10 weeks after they stop whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I think one of the issues at the moment is the time we live in now, everything's at your fingertips. You can have everything quite instantly, and that's not the case with your health. You can't just have things instantly. Things are going to take a long time to change. But everyone is looking for that, quick fix.
Yeah. And if there was one, I'd be doing it. I'd be abusing the crap out of it.
Or just like a pill or something like that.
Yeah, if there was a way to get to my result that wasn't detrimental to my health and it was quick,
yeah, right.
I would be smashing it.
Yeah, I think everyone would. Yeah.
Everyone would, but everyone's looking for it, but it's just not there. It's just like, as Roger Federer has a quote, there's no way around hard work, so embrace it.
We have had a few people come on board that have had like lap band surgeries and stuff like that.
And even then, they're still overweight.
Yeah, they're still overweight, or they're not happy with the way they've done it. They're actually a bit like, I've spoken to a few people and they're like kind of tentative about talking about their results. Like they're like, yeah, I've lost like 30 kilos, but I've done it in the wrong way, and they're not happy with the way they've done it. They're not happy with their results, not happy with their body, because they didn't actually do it in the right way.
And you know what drives me crazy about lap band surgeries? I've had clients with lap band surgery. Let's say they're 120 kg, they get lap band surgery, they may go down to 100 kg, right? They've lost this 20 kilos of weight, which is from restricting their food. But now you have an issue with their metabolism. They're eating less food. True. They're eating such a little amount of food that they're now struggling to lose body fat. And then you try and get them on more food and focus on that nourishment path, and they can't do it because their stomach can't handle the food. So it creates a long-term issue anyway.
And I think another problem with that is, so say they go from 120 down to 100, they've lost the weight, but the problem is they haven't increased their fitness. So they haven't actually changed anything to do with their health apart from dropping body fat.
And the habits the same.
So I went to a consultation the other day, and I was talking to this lady, and she lost like 50 kilos or something like that just through lap band. And she hadn't changed a single thing to do with her actual training lifestyle. So she wasn't fit at all. And she was just super unhappy. So it wasn't about the physical, element of just having all this extra body fat. It was actually about the lifestyle. And she's actually realized that after losing all the weight. So it's a pretty interesting thing. People just think that it's aesthetic, but it's really not. It comes down to your lifestyle.
I mean, this is the option, right? When people get started, they say, oh, I want to lose 10 kgs, right? And most companies and most personal trainers out there will say, okay, you want to lose 10 kgs, eat this, follow this, do this, and at the end you'll have 10 kilograms lost, right? Easy. Everyone can grit 6 to 10 weeks of effort. The problem is once they come off that and the motivation drops, if they haven't changed any of their habits, they just revert to exactly where they came from,
100%.
exactly where they started. So, I mean, what you need to focus on as a personal trainer and as someone going through that program is changing those small little habits so that when you get the result, it's going to stay for good. I always say to my clients, and I know at Get Going that's what we say, is that if you're going to change something, change it for good. Otherwise, don't change it at all. Because what's the point?
I'm not sure if you've seen this at all, Ethan, but on Facebook, I've seen this like challenge. I'm not sure what the company is, but they're doing like you got to lose 7 kilos in 7 weeks, I think. And if you lose the 7 kilos, you get your money back, right? So the idea, I guess, is to just lose as much weight as possible in the 7 weeks, and you can do it for free.
Good extrinsic motivator, but the long-term picture's lost, isn't it?
And also I'm worried about people going in there and just doing everything they possibly can to lose the 7 kilos in 7 weeks just to keep their money and then not actually making any type of change at all. Or they might be, just completely restricting their diets. They're basically starving themselves just to make this, 7 kilo change.
I mean, we're in an industry where it encourages you to eat less, which doesn't make any sense. Like, why
we don't really believe that.
No, but like, what is the point of eating less? You're never gonna. Like, what, you want to live the rest of your life starving?
No.
It's not possible. So why the crap?
What's wrong with that? Yeah, exactly.
It's a joke. So I mean, the only way, and as boring as it is, the only way to get results is to focus on habits and long term. That's it. If you want to keep your results, if you actually want to have a lifestyle where you don't have to focus on restricting the rest of your life, then you need to work, you need to be educated, for one. You need to understand the food that you're putting into your body. You need to understand how to exercise, not just follow what your PT sends you in a fucking email for 10 weeks. And if you follow that, congratulations, you got a 10-week result that you may, and the 5% of you may keep it, but 95% of you are going to revert to exactly where you started, and then you can end up back with us anyway.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but this whole keto thing, like this keto thing that's going on at the moment, it kind of reminds me of you remember that gluten phase where everyone was just cutting gluten out of their diet for no reason, because no one actually understood what gluten did, but they were just cutting it out because it was a phase, a craze.
I mean, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Is that the right saying? I think so.
Yeah, I think you got it right.
There's 1,000 ways to get to a result. The thing is that one way is not going to work for everyone. So we need to go internal when we exercise, or when we're going for a goal. The one thing we do wrong is we try and follow other people's plans. What we need to do is focus on the things internally to us that we're doing wrong. And most of it starts with habits. Most of it starts with your morning routine, starts with your night routine, starts with your day. It starts with stress, sleep, all these other factors. But what we focus on straight away is eating less. Every single time. Every single person I have on freaks out when I tell them you need to double their food or increase that food. I had one client, she came to me and she was eating about 800, 900 calories a day, which she got from another company. Now, she wasn't losing any weight. And the first thing I said to her is, okay, we're going to double your food. And obviously, naturally, female as well.
Panic.
She's freaked out. She's like, and we've been drilled into us that eat less, move more, government standards, absolute bullshit, that we're going to lose weight. Yeah. So then the first thing we've done is double her food. She didn't believe me. I said, okay, look, do it for 4 weeks. If you've seen no change, then I'll give you your money back, all right? So she did for 4 weeks, lost 4 kilos from doubling her nutrition. How does that work? It's because we're focused on calorie restriction rather than calorie nourishment. And if you focus on restriction, you're never going to stick to it.
And also, she's not going to have those cravings as well. She's eating more. She's not going to be like, man, I really want that chocolate bar now, because she's actually, increased the amount of food that she's having, of the good foods.
I describe food as kind of like a crack addict, right? In the sense that if you get a crack addict, right, and you do not teach them anything, you just throw them in prison for 8 weeks. Right?
It's the same, I get that.
And then they come out of prison, they're straight back on that crack, right? But if you take a crack addict, put them through rehab, educate them, restrict them in certain ways, but then help them in other ways, when they come back, there's a better chance that they're going to...
Much better chance, yeah.
Oh, you'd hope so. That they're going to... Clearly not, Ben Cousins just got done. But there's a better chance that they're going to stick to something, right? Because they've been educated and they have had help. Where it's exactly the same when it comes to food.
It's the same with keto and stuff like that. That's why I wanted to come back to it. It's just, unless you're going to stick with it for a long period of time, or unless you're doing a bodybuilding comp or something like that, and you really want to lean up and you've done your research and you understand how it's going to affect your body, it's not going to work for you. You're basically going to do it for 4 weeks. You're probably going to feel like shit.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go back to eating carbs. Your insulin resistance is going to be up, and you're just going to put body fat on.
It's just it comes back to what we were saying before. Unless you're going to do it for long term, why start in the first place?
Exactly.
I mean, it's good to try different things. It's good to work out what works for you. Like I personally have fats for breakfast, where I know carbs would be probably more beneficial for my body type. But I will have fats because I know I'm going to stick to it. I don't like carbs in the morning because I feel bloated. Right, so I have learned.
That's because that's your experience, and that's you understanding your body. You're not just following a diet just based off something you heard on Instagram.
Exactly.
You've actually learned about your body, and you figured out that your carbs don't agree with you in the morning, so you're not having it.
Exactly, and then I know that I'll cheat during the day if I have carbs in the morning. For some random reason, it plays with my hunger levels. Where someone else might work way better off a high carbohydrate breakfast. But we only learn these things, and we've been doing this for 8 or 9 years now in terms of our own body transformations, and it's taken 8 or 9 years for me to work that out.
And now you really have a really good understanding for it, so you know exactly what you need to do. If you do want to lean up, or if you want to put muscle on, you've got exactly the right tools and information necessary.
People look at PTs and they go like, "Oh, I could never do that because I want to have a life." I hear that all the time.
All the time, man.
I want to have a life. Like, congratulations, I have a life.
It's almost like a negative that you live this way. It's like, but they don't understand, do they? Really?
Well, it's a coping mechanism for people because they know, well, I couldn't do that, so I'm just going to say that it's not possible.
It's too hard. Yeah,
it's too hard. Yeah. But really, I have the most freedom out of everyone. Yeah. In my opinion, because I understand how to eat so well that if I go out for a bad meal or I go do these things, I understand it's not going to blow me out of proportion. But when people are restricting their food, they freak out when they have a bad meal.
They do freak out.
They freak out and they're like, my results are ruined, and then they start ruining other days as well.
And realistically, what's the difference? Like you're actually putting exactly the amount of time into your eating as everyone else. You might be eating 6 meals a day instead of 3 meals a day like a lot of other people. But it's not like it's crazy hard to prepare a couple more meals or eat a couple more meals a day.
There's also people like, I don't have time to cook 5 meals a day. And my kind of rebuttal to that is but you have time to sit in your room on TV waiting for your Uber Eats, or you have time to go buy lunch and take away from cafe. The way I see it, I spend an hour on a Sunday prepping 4 days. Yeah. So I have an hour over 4 days. My cost and my time spent around the meals is an eighth of other people's.
It comes down to effort though. Like they just can't put the effort in there. But it's again, it goes back to habits, like brushing your teeth. You don't think about brushing your teeth, you just do it. It's the same thing when you're meal prepping if you've done it for a little while. If you build it into your Sunday, you've got to do it on Sunday. So, the day before you're planning for it, whatever, you get it done and you don't think about it. So it comes back to building those habits for yourself.
Yeah, habits, I could not drill into everyone how important habits.
Really, habits is everything to do with this industry.
The problem is that when you don't have it as a habit, right, it requires willpower. And as we know, willpower is a muscle. It gets tired, it gives up. But the more the more ingrained your habits are, the less willpower it uses, so the easier it becomes.
It's psychological. Yeah.
And that's why, when we eat calorie restriction, how hard is it resisting all those foods all the time? It's tiring. It requires so much willpower. So by the time you get to the end of the day, 4 or 5 p.m., you're going to eat bad. If you've restricted the whole day, your willpower is exhausted. You've had a hard day at work, cortisol's up, stress is up. You get home, and I know that 80 to 5% of our clientele where they cheat is around that 5 to 6 p.m.
100% after work. They'll get home and they'll be stressed out. Or
They decided they're going to have a bloody bite of an apple and lick a piece of salmon for lunch, and then they're going to come home and not eat till 5 or 6 p.m. Had a stressful day, boom, bad food. So having that habit in there of maybe you put in a 3 p.m. or a 4 p.m. meal to try and counteract that, that's a habit that will stay with you long term, and then will hopefully reduce that feel and need to eat bad when you get home from work.
I feel like people have this idea about meals being really, really bland and like having to be like chicken, rice and broccoli and stuff like that. It really doesn't have to be like that. Like, when they think about us prepping our meals, they probably think that, it's disgusting, but you can actually make it taste good.
My meals are disgusting because I'm lazy.
Yours are disgusting. I've tasted yours and they're terrible.
But this is the thing. But that doesn't bother me because it's suited to me.
I know.
But for you might prefer, like, Ash's
put
always
some
got
flavour in that. Yeah. Put some sauce on that.
Cool things. I'm always jealous. Like, if I leave a meal at home and ask Ash to borrow one of his, I'm loving it because it's got seasonings, spices, all those weird things. But
I've had yours before.
But it's important to know your weak points.
Yeah.
See, my weak point isn't flavour. So that's for me. I'd rather spend less on the effort on the flavor, right? But I might spend more time on other things.
And the reason I need some flavor on that is because I know that if I don't do that, I'm going to get sick of it.
Exactly.
And I'm going to stop and I'm going to cheat. So I need to put some flavor on there, mix it up a little bit, so that I don't revert back to having bad food or, really craving like salt or something like that.
What's a habit that you have that you've learned and you've picked up over the years that you still have today?
Oh, that's a good question.
I know for me, right, when I finish my last meal, the first thing I do is brush my teeth.
Okay. Why is that?
Because the moment I have brushed my teeth, I have decided the day is ended.
Yep.
My meals are done.
Yep.
And now this is the thing. If you don't brush your teeth, in my head, I can still cheat. I can still have something else. I might go, whatever, if my housemate comes home with some food or whatever it is, I might jump into it. If I've brushed my teeth, it's just that little bit extra that says, hey, you know what, you finished. I can't be bothered brushing my teeth again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to brush your teeth twice.
No, you're not going to go back to that chocky bar. No,
yeah, exactly. So
maybe Rick Bailey.
That's one little habit that I know that if I do that, now that may sound minuscule, but if that changes 2 meals a week, that's 52 weeks. You know what I mean? That's 104 meals.
It's huge.
100, like that's crazy. That's a massive 1% changes your whole year.
Yeah.
So these are the things that, like, yes, they seem small, but
I suppose
over a year they're huge.
Impacts was the compound effect, isn't it? I think one thing I've picked up is when I go grocery shopping, I just avoid the bad aisle.
Oh,
you
just do the
chocolate bars, chips, and all that kind of stuff.
The outskirts.
I avoid it. If I don't bring it home, I'm not going to have it there. I'm not going to even think about eating it.
And then eating before I go shopping is another one.
Yeah, do not go on an empty stomach. You will go straight for the Cadbury.
It's like going clothes shopping on payday. Yeah. and going grocery shopping on an empty stomach. They're just two no's.
Yeah. These are just small things to change. It's not hard.
Obviously, what time do you wake up in the morning?
On average, I'd say 5:30.
5:30. Okay, so I wake up similar time, but sometimes a bit earlier. Pussy. But I wake up about 4:30. Right.
That's why I look fresh.
And I hate waking up that early. What I do, and I tell everyone to do that you're not used to, I put my alarm underneath my bed. I still do this today, right? The reason I do that is because by the time I've got my alarm from underneath my bed, I'm fuming. I'm angry. I'm already awake. So now I'm going to go and do my life like I decided, right? But if I leave it next to me, I'm going to snooze. And then I don't have breakfast. My whole day is thrown off. So once again, there's like a 1%er, one small habit that changes my whole week, whole year.
People don't realize how important a morning routine is. It's so important. If I don't set my day up from the morning, the rest of my day is ruined. Like I just have a worse day. It's not ruined, but I don't go as well throughout the rest of the day. So
100%.
If you pack your lunch or whatever you need to do, plan your clothing, and then start your day right, or have a workout, whatever you normally do in the morning. And it's going to set up the rest of your day in a really good way.
100%. If you start your day with like letting yourself down, so by, if you agree to yourself that you're going to wake up at 5 o'clock and you wake up at 6 o'clock, skip breakfast and go to work, your day,
angry.
Fuming, but the rest of your day is also negative.
Yeah, it is.
Those days where you wake up, you go to the gym, and you've killed it. The rest of your day is amazing.
I was listening to a podcast from Aubrey Marcus, and he talks about owning the day. And it's so important just to kind of get the morning routine right, so that the rest of your day is just on point. You got the rest of the day to figure it out.
It's honestly like mastering your day is the key to long-term sustainable results. Because if you can
day by day,
if you nail every single day, then obviously over a year you're going to have amazing results. That's just fact. So if you write out, I actually did this a long time ago. Someone told me to do this. They told me to write up. They told me to write up a whole day of what I do and where I spend my time, and then look at all the things that are detrimental to what I'm trying to achieve, and then cut them out, or putting things in place that will help that. So I foam roll if I'm going to watch TV to help with recovery. Someone else might write a to-do list in the morning, which I do as well, but there's always a to-do list. Yeah. They're just like, what is that statistic that if you write a to-do list before your working day, you get an extra hour each day of productivity.
Yeah, that's
so
insane.
From a 9 to 5 job, if you write a to-do list, you get an extra hour. So imagine if you could do that for your own goals. Like if your goal is to, lose X amount of weight or increase fitness in what level, if you write a to-do list of your week even, or how does your week how does your week work out?
One thing I've found that kind of helps me in the morning as well is when I wake up, I write some goals down for the day, just some simple goals, and you tick them off. I know you like to do that, get that kind of...
I'm a goal junkie.
Yeah, exactly. And it just kind of helps you set up your day right, and you're kind of on the right foot from the start.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we do wrong is we have no self-awareness with our goals. So now this could be a fitness, whatever it is. We're talking about fitness here. So let's say you got a client or someone, who wants to lose 20 kg back to where they used to be, right? That's the most common thing we hear. I want to look how I used to look. The biggest question we always ask is like, well, back then what was different? And people will say, oh, back then I was exercising more and I was doing this more. But like what we got to go into is just why were you doing that? Or what habits were different back then that you're not doing now? Because it's never as simple as just exercising more and eating.
So something's changing in lifestyle that's made a massive impact, yeah.
And obviously things are going to be more simple when you're a 20-year-old and you've got, less stress. If you're someone with kids now, obviously that's something you're going to have to adapt to. So how do your habits change?
Obligations, yeah.
Yeah, because you maybe not be able to work out for an hour and a half a day where you used to. So you maybe have to work out for 20 minutes. But then online program from some PT, 10-week shred program or whatever crap has told you that you need to...
You got to be on keto and you got to have this
and you got to work out an hour a day, right?
Yeah.
But if that's not suitable to your goal, what, 20 minutes is bad? No, fuck no. It's better than it's good. Yeah. It's fine. But
if you do it right, you can smash it.
We have this mentality with health and fitness that when we do something, if we can't do something a little bit like exactly what it's supposed to be, we don't do it at all.
Yeah.
But
also because you're comparing yourself to everyone else around you.
Yeah.
So you're thinking like, oh, this person's working out for an hour. I've only got 20 minutes, so I might as well not do it. But the 20 minutes is going to make a massive impact on your week if you do that 3 times. And it's about kind of nipping in the bud. I've got so many clients that have come to me and said that, I just haven't started because, I've gone so far down this track now that it's been hard to get back. But if you'd done that from the start and just slowly integrated back in, you wouldn't be in this position now.
Wall is built brick by brick.
Exactly right.
So, but like,
it's exactly like my training.
Yeah,
brick by brick.
Yeah, that's it. And me and Ash train extremely different to each other.
Completely different. I hate your training.
Yeah, I hate your training. It's boring. But the point is like, go inside, go a little bit internal, have a look at your own habits and start working out what tiny little bloody things you can implement. Because those tiny little things are going to add up to huge, huge results. And if you're like, stop thinking about, hey, I want to lose 20 kg, start losing about, hey, how can I lose 1? And then when you lose, and then when you lose 1, go, how can I lose 1 again? Yeah. Then, okay, how can I do that 20 times rather than I'm going to lose 20 kg? Because straight away, that's hard. It's like...
And throw away any of these 10-week programmed, lose 10 kilos things.
If there's a time attached to it,
don't worry about that.
If there's a time attached to it, the only time...
Unless you enjoy the programs, then keep doing them.
Yeah, but the thing is, if there's a time attached to it, you're going to stop it, right? Yeah. That's what you're already committing to.
Exactly, you've only got a 10-week goal.
You're committing to a stop.
Exactly
so
right.
Health and fitness is a lifestyle. So if you're not enjoying your process of doing it, then the chances are you're probably not doing it suited to you.
So we've gone on a bit of tangents, but basically this has been about
I think
habits.
the key point is that focus on habits, focus on increasing those 1%ers, and then they can add up to fucking 100%.
And then you'll be where you want to be.
All right.
Nice one.
Thank you.